guys, it's Miss Allison and I hope you're having a fantastic day today. So we're going to be taking a look right now at our argument language, specifically claim and counterclaim and how we can use those. So let's just dive right in. We know argument writing has a few different purposes. First and foremost, we want to express our opinion in an academic and elevated setting, okay? And we also want to make sure as we're doing that we are giving the reader reasons to believe what we believe or agree with what we agree with, right? We want to win in a way. We also want to convince the readers at some point to take action. So to do that, we have a couple of different ways that we can both argue and persuade a little to make that happen. Okay, so here is what we want to look at. We already know about claim, we know about CEA. The other half to that is counterclaim, all right? So this idea is that we are addressing the haters. That's what I like to call it in my mind, because that's what you're doing. You're addressing the opposite viewpoint first, and then, boom, you bring the fire, or you bring your claim, okay? So in class, we'll talk about it both ways. Address the haters, bring the fire, counterclaim, claim. That's what those two things mean, all right? What does the other viewpoint think? Boom, here's what I believe, here's why it's better and stronger. So let's take a look at some examples here. Now this slide gives you some really strong sentence stems that you can use in an argument about this. And on the next one, we have an example. This is a classic example. You have seen this in every argument unit you've ever learned, probably, right? Cats versus dogs, how exciting. But let's think about this. So if you want to be correct, you want to be heard, you want to be respected, you could do it one of two ways. You could just walk up to someone and blurt out your opinion, and they'll probably be like, okay, right? Or if they you know that they're going to disagree with you, you could kind of butter them up almost, right? Or like get them ready and then really bring your point. So show some empathy, some compassion there first, and then bring your point in. So what this could sound like is some people believe that cats are fluffy and adorable. Oh, how nice. However, boom, bring the fire. They should also know that dogs are intelligent and more willing to play games with people than cats are. Okay? So that's just, again, kind of addressing their viewpoint first, bringing it in. Think right now about a situation in your life. Maybe you're trying to convince your parents to let you go do something, or you're trying to convince your siblings to lend you a video game, or something like that. There's two ways this can go, right? You could walk up against that person and demand something. Yo, give me the game, right? That would be when my brother or sister shut the door on me, probably, right? Or you could get to know them a little bit more, address their viewpoint a little bit more. You probably won't use academic language like this, but you could say something like, hey, you know what? I know that the game that you're playing is so fun, and at the same time, I think that this game might be more fun for you, right? Give them an option, give them a choice. Or also, it is my turn to play it because give them a reason, right? Don't just demand something from them. That's not going to work. Look at them, give them a little bit of that empathy, and then it's going to work, okay? So here is an example. We're going to look at these together in class. But this first one shows where counterclaim could show up. So we know CEA, counterclaim, is going to be underlined. First of all, binge watching TV shows is negative because it can lead to mental health issues. According to the text, the neural pathways that cause drug and gambling addictions are the same as an addiction to binge watching. While some people think binge watching helps relieve stress, this shows it is also true that binge watching is negative because it can infect a person's mind as poorly as some of the worst addictions a person can have, right? So that's like kind of an extreme example. That's from an academic article. This is from a student's writing a few years ago, but you can see here they say, some people may believe this. It is also true. Really support my point there, okay? So that's one way to use it. Let's look at one other example here. This one is about social media. One may think that social media can increase connections among teens. However, it is also shown to increase teen depression. According to the article, this is born out of a large body of research linking teenagers to the uses of social media with increased teen depression. Although social media does provide a way for people to connect, it will increase teen depression, will make them feel like they're not enough. And I'm sorry this part is not underlined. This whole thing up to the comma is going to be our counter argument, right? So although some people believe, like, yes, it could be a good thing, it's actually not a good thing because, right? Be polite in your argument. So that's the goal here. I know this is a super crash course in claim and counterclaim. Your job now is to go through and use these things in the practice that you're doing today, okay? So let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.